A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K. Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, and welcome to another episode of 10. This time we are talking our 10 dream matches, Anthony. The 10 matches we wish had happened.
We wish,
but have not.
And for our OG followers, they'll know that we've been here before.
We have been here before, way back when. So has that list changed?
A little bit.
So we'll dive into the first one, shall we? Which is going to be one of yours.
Okay, I'm doubling down on this, right? May not necessarily be high on anyone's list in terms of going, it should be a dream match, because I don't think a lot of people will think of it. People will go straight to matches that they never got, and which is probably some of the ones we've done, and some of the ones I think you've done.
Most of them.
But this is a match I think we deserve and could be executed brilliantly. And this is the legendary Tama versus Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we got to, let's say, hypothetically, right? Roman retains at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming out all braggadocious. We know it's not going to be The Rock, right? He's beat Cody, coming out, bloodline still intact. What's going to happen? Boom, Gorillas of Destiny. Yeah, that's the name. They come to WWE, they join WWE. Tama's obviously the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Haku's there as well, because he's a fucking legend.
Yeah, Haku's a legend.
And he's coming to prove a point, right? And he could be the foil to Roman Reigns, and I think that'd be a fucking epic story to tell.
Okay.
Committing to this. I said it last time. And Roman's only just dug his sort of legend status in deeper, that I feel like he could be the man who topples the reign.
Topples Roman's reign?
Yes.
That was hard to say.
Ends the reign of Rome.
Do you know what's ironic though? Is I'm going to sound like Alanis Morissette now and list off something which is completely not
It's
ironic.
like rain.
But you had this on the original list, and if you think this was before any bloodline, any family, shenanigans.
Yeah. And now it just works better.
And it's even, one of the odds.
Come on, how good would it be to have Haku there again?
Oh yeah, God, Haku's a
scary, scary man, yeah.
badass, yes. But, I mean, it's the whole Anoa'i family, and all the kind of everyone around that family and all the links that they've got. It is one hell of a bloodline, do you know what I mean? So to have people around that who could be coming knocking on the door to be the strongest bloodline.
And I feel like Tama and his brother, they've done Japan enough that it kind of makes sense if they sort of move towards, I think they're on Impact as well quite recently, but moving towards WWE just feels like a natural step at some point for them.
Yeah.
So,
what's this is going to sound really wrong. What's Tama look like these days? Because didn't he shave all his hair off and stuff like that? And I'm a fan of a mirror match, which is why I put this graphic together here for anyone who's watching on YouTube and not listening, where they look pretty much like they are looking in the mirror. So, long beards, long hairs.
I feel he might be clean shaven at the moment, but
terrible. Sure. So if it's going to happen, it's got to grow back, and it's got to be
grow the beard first, man.
That's what I mean. You've got to get the most out of the feud, and that's what's going to do it for me.
Maybe we should speak to Tama.
Yeah, do it. Tama, come on the show. Tell us why you're really the head of the table. But yeah, I think it's a fascinating choice. It's one that makes a lot of sense from a storyline standpoint, from a personal standpoint, and as far as I'm aware, we've never seen it. So, dream match, but as you said, one which could still happen today.
Yeah.
So
this is kind of a fantasy bucket in some senses, but I think this could be an epic match.
Agreed.
Build right.
Agreed. Coming in at number 9, one of mine. Buckle up. So anyone who knows me knows that I have a hard time saying who my favourite wrestler is of all time, and it's kind of between two guys, Bret the Hitman Hart and Mr. Perfect himself, Kurt Hennig. And he's just an absolute legend. He had everything. He, was fantastic on the mic. He was fantastic in the ring, and he just had all the ability you could ever imagine. Someone who reminds me a bit of Mr. Perfect was Eddie Guerrero. So obviously, unfortunately, both of these passed away now, but I just look at this and think, you look at this in ring, would have been phenomenal. You look at this on the microphone, would have been phenomenal. You have this whole concept of the pair of them. Like Mr. Perfect was a weasel. You know, he was aligned with Bobby Heenan. Considering he was perfect, he would do anything he could to win. He won most of his matches he lost, but retained his title most of the times via disqualification. Right? Mm. He was just a weasel, right? And you loved him.
Weasel.
You loved him, right? And what did Eddie Guerrero do in the
he cheated, he stealed.
Exactly, right? So imagine some kind of cheat off between these two, where they're both
steal the right word.
Stole, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
He lied. He cheated. Yeah, that's can't really do that.
Doesn't work.
It only works as lie, cheat, and steal in the present. But yeah, so you can just imagine these two kind of trying to one up each other in terms of, you know, pulling the wool over the referee's eyes, or trying to get the advantage, or just doing. You just make for all the lols.
Yeah, and have like almost like a showdown of like heel tactics.
Definitely. And you obviously Kurt was a fantastic technical wrestler. One of the best at what he does, and Eddie was just phenomenal as well. He was a little bit more of a flyer, but you know, someone who was very, very capable of, you know,
insanely so,
suplexes and all this kind of stuff, similar to Kurt. So it just, I don't know, it just could have been immense.
The closest you're going to get now is Curtis Axel versus Dom Mysterio.
So some form of this could potentially happen at some. I love the way you've put Dominic Mysterio in there, by the way.
I said, well, Eddie's not really got a son in wrestling, has he? So
this is true.
I know. Is his daughter wrestling again? Or is she still?
Not too sure, to be fair.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought Dom's got that obvious connection for the fan base. So
so some
Dom versus Curtis Axel.
Yeah, for some reason that one doesn't really fill me with as much appeal. I can't quite put my finger on
what that
why.
is.
But yeah, I loved Mr. Perfect, and obviously Eddie was fantastic as well. Just you know, the latter part of his career just really blossomed into something incredible. So, you know, prime Eddie versus prime.
If you say prime one more time, I'm gonna have to pay Logan Paul. So stop it.
Very good point. So yeah, it's a match which I don't know, for me would have just been chef's kiss, you know.
Yeah. So I totally agree.
That's in at number 9.
We could have had.
Indeed. Coming in at number 8.
Okay.
All right. What is it with you, Roman? I think this has happened a couple of times. Not to give spoilers for upcoming entries, but I'm sure you've got someone else who appears on the list. In fact, we might have one each on that one, so I'll let you off. But go on, talk about Roman.
Look, Roman. He was never my favourite person, as people will probably know if you go right as far back as Rumble Talk when we first started. I was not a fan, right? He's excelled himself, right? So I have no qualms admitting I'm a Roman fan, right? Now, this in the realms of like the possibility of Tony Khan owning WWE someday, as much as I don't really like the idea of monopolising, you look at the possibilities, and this is where this thought has come across. So I'm like, so we could have Mox back, and we could have Omega and the Elite potentially in WWE. And for me, the natural thing would be to, if we're talking dream matches, let's have the Shield, one of the most sort of, this may be generationally not true to some people, like one of the most legendary stables in WWE. And I know that hurts, Carl. I know you're thinking DX, let it go, right? But the Shield are, like, of that era, still active wrestlers, a hell of a faction, right? And then you go, well, we could have the Shield versus the Elite, and that would just be, come on, the Elite are the notorious non-WWE guys. They're probably the ones who got the most famous without being either ex-WWE or ever involved in WWE. So for me, I feel like the storyline's there in and of itself. You've got the people who were made by WWE and the people who were made by the Indies. I just feel like it's a perfect match waiting to happen right there.
Definitely, from a stylistic standpoint, you have got, like, you know, built by WWE versus kind of, you know, built in Japan, essentially.
I even love the fact that some people will just lose their fucking shit over this because they don't think that the books will gel well with the Shield in terms of work rates, and they don't take it seriously. And just letting people lose their mind over the fucking booking as well, it'd be funny as well.
Yeah. So obviously in this comparison, are you thinking original? It's not like, you know, it happens today and Mox kind of reforms back with current Roman and current Seth.
Like, if you're looking in the realms of possibility, you'd have to reform the Shield, wouldn't you? Like, and say, so it'd be like current day everyone. So you'd have to do it that way if it was ever to realistically happen.
Yeah.
The ideal for me would be the Shield as it was,
the original
versus
Shield.
the Elite from New Japan.
Oh, okay. when they were kind of still Bullet Club kind of times.
Sort of. Well, I think there was a time, wasn't it? I don't follow New Japan strongly, but there was a time when they weren't Bullet Club and when the Elite formed, in a sense.
Okay. Think you could have had a thing with bullets and shields and, stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But, sorry. Ruined that. I was like, no, Carl, no. But yeah, for me, it'd be the Shield when they were the Shield, if you're doing Dream Match, versus the Elite at their peak. Because all due respect to them, I don't think they're at the peak in AEW. They've come in as these are the well-known indie guys, and they're there to sort of bolster it and be like, look, it's a good thing we're here. I feel like their peak was actually before that all kicked off. So
yeah, okay, but they have to come out to Carry On My Wayward Son or whatever, don't they?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, fair play. Coming in at number 7. Now, you've got to have another one of my favourites on here, which is Roddy Piper with. One of the goats of Chris Jericho. And again, it comes back. I tried to, I'm the kind of guy who tries to think these all through, both in the ring as well as on the microphone and just from a storyline perspective, And
even a commentary, no one can touch you.
Hi, Colt Cabana. So Piper was one of the greatest talkers of all time. Anyone who is a big fan of the show will know about our A2theK Knees, where we have, called the Talker of the Year, the Roddy Piper Award.
Of course.
That's how much of a fan I am of Roddy Piper's mic ability. But you can argue Jericho is more or less managed to achieve similar heights on the microphone as well, from his promo standpoint. And
let's face it, he stole Piper's Pit.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, you've got that parallel as well. You had Piper's Pit, you've got the highlight reel. There's a lot of similarities there. They're both Canadian. Did you know that? He's not really from Scotland.
You're joking.
Kayfabe.
What's with the kilt?
But, there's just that. And then, technically, we did see this, but we didn't. So there was a match at Mania, wasn't there, where Jericho was a 3-on-1 match, and it was like Jericho versus Piper and Steamboat and someone else. I can't remember who it was. Sorry to the third person. But, we had obviously had the match. It wasn't really the match we wanted, was it? So to see these two in their prime, I guess one of the hardest things to consider is, when was Jericho in his prime? Which prime are we talking? So that'll be one of the hard things to actually pick. But
that's the difficult bit. Yeah, I would. I think I would probably love to see, in terms of like experience and when you talk about like the whole thing, like on the mic and in the ring and so on, I would actually go with current Jericho.
Okay. Like current right now, JAS, right. Or like...
Well, let's say...
Formed, what's I'm call it, with the flim flams and the...
Yeah, let's say the Inner Circle Jericho. Yeah. Early days, AEW World Champion Jericho. I think it'd be a good one to blend. I think that'd be a good one to blend with Roddy. I think they'd work well together.
He's had obviously the list and everything. He's had loads of amazing stuff, hasn't he? But I just think Piper would kill it on the mic. I think Jericho would bounce off him really well, like to get offended by the things he says and also come back with his insults and stuff. And the in-ring ability, people sleep on Piper, I think. Well, his finishing move is to sleep it. But they don't really give him the credit I think he deserves in the ring. People just remember him solely for his mic skills and stuff like that.
I did overshadow his in-ring work,
yeah,
fair,
but I think
it was just so iconic.
Yeah, he's had fantastic matches, him and Bret and stuff, him and Flair. He's had phenomenal matches over time, so I think him and Jericho could tear the house down, but also build up a pretty credible feud.
You really went with tear the house down?
Sorry, turn the walls down.
Jericho was talking about. You had the opportunity.
So yeah, that was number 7. Coming in at number 6. Oh look, it's Jericho again.
Well, I'm gonna picture this. This is the list. Festival of Friendship.
Okay.
That era of Jericho versus Drew. That's what I'm gonna go for. Jericho.
Drew McIntyre.
He's a chameleon. He's reinvented himself time and time again. But I want the more clean cut Jericho, the WWE Jericho.
Okay.
Because I don't know if he's going for a grungy style now, so I don't want to be disrespectful saying grungy.
He's a rock star, isn't he?
The list Jericho, when he's there with his scarf and his little goatee and his heel ways versus a face Drew, I think it'd be a fucking epic match.
Okay.
Or an epic program.
Not Drew with Angela the Sword kind of Drew, but like...
No, this is Drew, COVID Drew.
COVID Drew.
before
World
they
champion
went,
Drew.
he could have a sword and a gimmick. No, COVID Drew, when he deserved to be champion and he built himself up and he turned face and the crowd fucking loved him until they didn't. That guy versus heel Jericho, who's, putting him on the list for whatever reason.
Yeah. The thing is, though, with Jericho, when he was doing the list gimmick, is he got himself over as a face, even though he was trying to be heel, wasn't he? So,
well, didn't he, because they weren't really face until KO turned on him and then he became the face in that program, didn't he?
Well, I think they were both faces, weren't they?
I thought they were both heels.
Well, they were
both assholes.
They're tweeners. They were,
whatever.
But obviously people loved to hate them, maybe. So it got to that point where everyone loved Jericho's, you just made the list, and everyone was loving it. So they kind of already had saw him in a positive light by that point. So there is that aspect of it, but it does intrigue me, this one, to be fair, because I'm a big Drew fan, a big Jericho fan. It's never a match I've ever really considered putting them together, but I think it's something which...
Well, you're a big fan of mirror matches, and there's clearly the size difference here. Would that bug you too much?
Do you know what?
Drew would sort of dominate him in terms of stature and muscle mass.
Maybe not. Maybe that's the reason I never thought about it that much, because in my mind, all the best matches are people who basically look the fucking same. But, there are phenomenal matches out there of people who are, much smaller versus people who are much bigger. So,
yeah.
Who would win?
Who would win?
I know I've not asked that on any other one, but I'm just curious.
The honest one of me would have to... I think the mechanism here would be to put Drew over.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. But yeah, Jericho versus Drew.
These are some wild choices, if we're honest.
So the next one.
I cannot believe you've got him in any sort of dream of yours.
Listen.
Is this not a nightmare for you?
So I want to caveat this by saying this isn't necessarily my dream match, but it's a match which I'm not shocked because I know why it didn't happen, but I can't believe
The Rock win.
It's never... Yes. I can't believe this match has never happened. The Rock versus Shawn Michaels. By all accounts, this was on the cards a couple of times, but Rock refused to... firstly, their careers just never really lined up. So at the point the Rock kind of debuted, Shawn went off with his back injury.
Oh, yeah, he's like, my back.
Yeah. So the Rock kind of came in when Shawn wasn't there. When Shawn came back, he wasn't really in a wrestling capacity. Then he kind of went away again. Then the Rock went to Hollywood when Shawn came back properly. And it just never really worked.
So you're saying Shawn's been avoiding him?
Basically, yeah. But ironically, I think the Rock came out at some point to say, do you know what? I would never work with Shawn because he's a cunt. Which is why me and DJ are bros.
Nice one, Dwayne.
But the Rock lived through that era before he was The Rock, where he was in the locker room, and Shawn Michaels was the Rock, locker room leader, and treated everyone like shit.
Was he really a leader or just the obnoxious tool?
Well, yeah, that one, but that happens apparently. CM Punk thinks he's a locker room leader. So
everyone thinks they're a locker room leader till Undertaker walks in.
Well, there is that. But then again, as much as you love Taker, you still got fucking Wrestler's Court, which was...
Look, Taker's a legend. Maybe he felt he had to do...
Maybe we're just soft with our video games and whatnot. But anyway...
Why aren't we playing... What's that game where you throw dice against the wall?
Yeah,
dice.
That one. Yeah.
Why are we rolling dice?
How could you not come up with that name? I could see. But yeah, so it's just more of a... I can't believe this match never happened, because there's people out there who fucking love Shawn. I am not one of them. People out there
really?
Who love The Rock, which obviously who doesn't love The Rock?
I've not met someone who doesn't.
Well, exactly. So for me, from a mirror match standpoint and stuff as well, I probably wouldn't do, current... fucking jacked off his tits Rock versus old man Marley Shawn Michaels.
The Rock is all natural.
I said jacked. I never said he was taking anything.
Oh, because you said off his tits.
Well,
my head went to
jacked
drugs.
Off his tits. You know what I mean? But
look, you're scouse and you're saying off his tits. I assume drugs.
That's fair. But I wouldn't go with current Rock, who's built like a brick shit house, versus old man.
What you want, like Attitude Era Rock?
Yeah, I think it needs to be The Rock when he was in his prime and Shawn when he was in his prime. So like 97, 96 Shawn versus 99, 2000.
I'm going to have to put a prime counter on the show if you keep fucking doing it.
Sorry. But Logan, send them over. So yeah, I don't know. I do think it could be a good match. As much as I hate Shawn, he has put on some phenomenal matches. Obviously, we've lauded his matches with Taker at WrestleMania. He's had fantastic matches with Bret. Things like that.
His ability to mime a blowjob is fantastic.
Well, that is
some
true.
of the best I've seen in wrestling.
That is true. Yeah. People understand why I don't like the guy, because he's a fucking twat. But anyway, Yeah, so this is a match.
Weird. He's unique in the sense that I feel like he became more obnoxious when he found Christ.
Well, yeah, to be fair.
I don't even know how he managed that one.
Yeah. It was just the way, like, I'm just going to erase all the bad shit I did over the years by saying I've now found Christ. That's not really how it works. He's still a twat. But anyway, so, yeah, Rock versus Shawn never happened. Probably should have. And, you know, if it was done when they were both in their prime, could have been amaze balls.
Agreed.
Number 4.
Okay, so I'm throwing this out there because I feel like these sort of things don't get enough love, to be honest with you. So we know Mickie James is an absolute fucking legend in the women's wrestling, right? And I think Bayley is kind of overlooked a little bit. Not majorly, because she's obviously a huge star in WWE. She's been multiple time women champion. She's been tag team champion. She's done a lot, right? So I'm not saying she hasn't got credentials there. I'm not saying she hasn't got the respect in the wrestling industry, right? But when you go, current day women's legends and all that, everyone goes to the 4 horsewomen and they want to jump to like Becky first or Sasha or even Charlotte. I think Bayley gets like she for some reason is lower rated than the other horsewomen, and I feel like she's actually bold statement, hot take. She is the best one.
Okay,
right, and on that basis, I think legend versus legend here. I think it could be a dream match to have Mickie go up against Bayley.
Okay. Do you know how I would have booked this? I agree, by the way. I'm surprised this match has never happened. We looked it up, didn't we? Because we were like, surely it's happened.
Feels like it should have happened.
Definitely didn't. But do you know how I would book this?
Go on.
Remember when Mickie came into WWE and she was like obsessed with Trish?
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if Bayley was when she was the hugger and they brought her up and she was obsessed with Mickie.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
And Mickie was getting a taste of her own medicine.
That would have been good. That'd be some good booking.
That's how I would love to see this feud happen. But do you know what? I'm surprised it hasn't happened. It could
I would
work.
even have current, like the last rodeo. Mickie,
I was going to say it could work
Bayley.
as hardcore country versus damage control Bayley.
I mean, I know obviously, it's booked, so it's not happening this way. But imagine Trish, Lita, and Mickie going up against damage control because they could.
Yeah, that would be fucking phenomenal, wouldn't it? Yeah. To be fair. It's a shame. I made up that Lita and Trish get to obviously still do this, but the three of them together would have been just next level shit.
It's not the cake, wouldn't it?
Would have. But do you know what? Fair play. And you know what? I'm glad that we've got included a women's match on here as well because, there are loads that you could probably go after there, but you've obviously still got Trish, for example, has kind of come back for a bit. Lita's come back for a bit. So we've started to see some of them already. But this one, surprised it never actually happened. But it would be a banger.
Hopefully, I mean, I say hopefully, like I don't know how people feel on it, but Mickie James, last run in WWE, the whole bin bag situation, that didn't really end me well. It'd be nice if she sort of, well, I say the bin bag situation, it was actually the Rumble, wasn't it, to be fair? It'd be nice to see it, and even if it was just for a couple of matches, it'd be nice to see it in WWE again.
Yeah,
I think this could be a good match. Cause
it's not.
We're not really sure what the last rodeo meant because she's not done. She's clearly not done. And,
could be a last rodeo on the Indies.
But,
not to call Impact Indies, but maybe it's the last time before she has.
I hope we do see it in a WWE ring again.
And it still could happen. I keep thinking it's a shame, but this could still happen today. So
damn right.
Coming in at number 3. Now this is a match again. I am shocked never happened. This has got money all over it. Right, Brock Lesnar versus Batista. Yeah, look, it's all over them. I know they're tattoos. My bad. But you've got here two of the biggest fucking behemoths in all of WWE. They're both absolute monsters. They've both made a career off being, the Beast and the Animal. Come on. It writes itself.
I feel like in his early days, they were trying to put Batista as like the next big thing, after Brock, really.
Yeah.
I know because Brock had kind of walked out at this point, hadn't he? And then he was in Evolution. He was being pushed as like the monster animal.
He wasn't really there that long, Brock, the first time around, to be fair, wasn't he?
But he had a big impact.
Yeah, he was there, he wasn't there for a long time, but he made he definitely planted his flag. Is that a saying?
I think the way Brock does anything, he left a fucking dent there, didn't he?
Well, exactly.
You knew he was there.
Yeah,
Brock
and again, similar to what we were saying about Shawn and The Rock, maybe it's just a timing factor, but I believe they had a match in like OVW or something when it was when Batista was Leviathan or something against Brock. So it's never really been done, and nobody saw that. But I am shocked we never got. This is a WrestleMania main event. Let's be fair. When Batista was at his peak, and when imagine Brock came back when Batista was world champ, that would have been like, oh shit.
I honestly don't think we'll get Batista back anymore. No,
I don't either, unfortunately.
I think he's well settled, isn't he? So.
He's killing it in the acting world, isn't he? Let's
he
be
really
honest.
is.
And like you could say that about The Rock as well, but I don't know. You never say never with The Rock. Whereas I think Batista's pretty much just like, you know what? I'm happy with what I did. He came back.
Yeah, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I don't think Batista was ever too wrestling what The Rock was. So you get why The Rock would want to come back, because the wrestling had a big impact on him, and he had a big impact on wrestling. It was in his family and so on like that. I don't think Batista's got the same connection to wrestling, or he come from wrestling obviously, but I don't think he's got the same connection to. I think he's well suited and well happy where he is. And honestly, like again, no disrespect when I say this, but like I don't think anyone saw it coming.
No.
The amount of people WWE tried to push to Hollywood, and I don't think anyone expected Batista to be the guy who broke Hollywood.
To be the guy,
not as much as The Rock, but the next probably most popular one.
Arguably, has he done it better than The Rock in terms of the quality of his films? No offense to The Rock, he gets a lot of shit, doesn't he? He just plays himself in all his movies and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Dave's played he's done character work.
Yeah,
different in every film he's been in. He's been fucking Drax. He's been in,
you've seen Glass Onion.
Exactly.
It's totally different.
Completely different. So
I'll take your points, but I would say you got to give The Rock the kudos in terms of fame. Like, people probably still don't know who Dave Batista is. Although all you have to do is very quickly go Drax, and they go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think his name is household, so I'd probably still pip The Rock at like broke Hollywood the best.
God, yeah.
But when you consider like,
I mean, The Rock's the biggest actor in the world.
But when you consider like they've tried to push Cena, and Cena's done some films, incredible. You know, he's been in like notably did Daddy's Home 2 or whatever it was. He's been in that train wreck. He's done some legit stuff. Peacemaker TV series that really got him over.
Blockers.
Okay. I still sure you want to mention that one. But I still think Batista's, like you say, in terms of caliber of film, he's broke Hollywood. Probably, like you say, you may argue he's on the same level, but he's definitely next in line after The Rock.
Agreed.
And who'd have saw that coming?
Exactly.
But going back to this, I'm shocked we've never had this match.
Well, that's it. They've both been at the top of the industry at various times, so it just could have been phenomenal seeing the pair of them actually. You know, who's the best, the beast or the animal? So shocking, it never happened. Unfortunately, doesn't like it ever will. Speaking of things,
I mean, this speaks for itself. This is shocking. It never happened, and it's a shame it never will. Well, I say never will. You know, they both could.
Imagine WrestleMania 40.
I know. Imagine, because they both could. Man, Sting's proven he still go in the ring. Undertaker just needs to lace the boots back up. Come on, guys. But this like, it was a match that we should have got. It was a match that we were meant to get, and then sadly, was it Seth who ruined it? Yeah. Technically speaking,
yeah. Was it ever confirmed that that's the route we're gonna go down?
I don't know if it was ever confirmed by WWE, but I think it was like foregone. Like, he's gonna move on to that match with the Undertaker, and they're gonna fulfill that.
I wonder who got him instead that year.
Might be Bray.
Maybe.
No, Bray was the same year that Sting went against Triple H, so it
can't be
sense.
That's the WrestleMania we're about to talk about in a minute.
Might have been Roman. I think it was Roman after Bray. If it was meant to be that following WrestleMania,
maybe,
which would make sense to book it as a WrestleMania match.
Sting would have beat Undertaker.
Maybe, yeah, because you had Brock end the streak, you had Bray, then Roman not end the streak, but end the
beat him.
Yeah. And the new streak he started with 1-0.
Not much of a streak, that one. They don't talk about it. But so when are you thinking with this then? Are you thinking like WCW Sting, like when he's up in the rafters versus...
Yeah, no, I'd love peak Sting. Like,
because obviously your favourite Taker was American Badass Taker, but for this feud, I'd
have to actually not put my favourite Taker on this. It'd have to be the Phenom Undertaker. Okay. And that could be, you know, whether you want to go right back to original Undertaker or resurrected Undertaker, as it were, after he had his match with Kane and brought the Phenom back. That would be my personal preference. What I wouldn't really be a fan of is American Badass or even Ministry Taker when it went a bit too clowny. I feel like the Phenom, you know, the one that's on the picture essentially. Yeah, you know, that's the Taker to go against Crow Sting. Yeah.
Okay.
But let's not talk about Joker Sting because I'm not really a big fan of Joker Sting.
And who would have won? Taker, obviously.
Taker.
Would you have done it at Mania?
No, I wouldn't have. I'd have done it at Mania. It wouldn't have ended the streak, but it would have been a fucking good match.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Just you just hope that you would see it one day, but never meant to be, unfortunately. Which brings us to number one on the list. It's never changed. Has to be. Kurt Angle said it himself. It's his dream match. It's mine. Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. I don't think you could have ever booked a better technical I don't think anyone could ever have booked a better technical wrestling match than these two going one-on-one. I can't believe we never got to see the match. It just would have been next level shit. The thing is as well, and people shit on Bret a lot from like a personality or a character standpoint or whatever, he could have played so well off Kurt Angle. Like, phenomenally. Kurt would have been the heel, obviously. So I'm thinking this would have been like, you know, I mean, whenever they'd done it, it would have been amazing. But obviously, as we know, events happened. Fucking Goldberg.
Personally, I don't know how you feel about this. I would go, you know, the heel Kurt after he lost his hair.
Yeah.
When he was wearing the helmet to keep the fake wig on and stuff. That heel Kurt.
Yeah.
You know, at the peak of the "you suck" chance. I think that would be the right Kurt. You know, not too green, but not too seasoned. You know?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You could have even done it at the time when we had Team Angle versus the Hart Foundation. You know what I mean? You could have had a load of stuff going on there, but I just think it would have been the best wrestling match of all time in the ring. There would have been no doubts about it. But I think as well, from a match build perspective, it just could, like, Kurt was fucking amazing on the mic, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
What a personality. What a fucking awesome dude. And Bret, he could hold his own, man. People shit on him.
And Bret.
No, but people shit on him. But he there's a reason he was the champ for them years. He did carry the company. And he can cut a promo, but
sadly, I think people forget about Bret because, like, you know, he was never like the best on the mic, and he was outshined by a few people, in all fairness. But I think people kind of just assume he wasn't, because all they remember now is the, like, pissed off Bret.
Yeah.
You know, my career was ended early and I'm not happy about it, Bret. Because people like thinking about, like, oh, he's just so bitter. It's like, yeah, I'd be as well, to be fair. Like, I give him a pass on that one.
Have you seen his
bitter.
life? Have you seen all the shit that happened to him? Yeah, I think he's got every right to be bitter, but it's just one of those. It's such a shame. Because, like, we could have even got it in WCW or something, do you know what I mean? Like, the timing was just so unfortunate, because literally Angle was about to break onto the scene, and, you know, Bret obviously had to retire at that point. But my God, I don't think there's a better match that anyone could have ever booked. You talk about these fantasy matches between, like, you know, Kenny Omega versus someone else, or, you know, fucking, I don't know, Roman versus this guy, or AJ versus this guy. Like, this is the best match that would have ever happened. Meltzer would have given it 10 stars and creamed his kecks.
Yeah, I can see that.
And me too.
Yeah. I wish I couldn't see that.
The best there wasn't, the best there never will be. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Crying shame, but you're right. Definitely should be number one on the list, man.
Indeed.
Without a doubt.
So that was our top 10 dream matches. We kind of gave it away with the thumbnail, what was going to be number one.
Damn it.
You know, shit happens. But what do you think? Do you agree? Do we leave something else? What's your favourite dream match, you know, of all time?
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Do comment with your thoughts. You may have seen us sampling some of Top Rope's finest beer, which you can get from topropebrewing.com.
Yeah,
this week's was Mango-nificent.
Yes, Mango-nificent, the Mango Pale Ale. We've had it before. We had to get it again because it is just fucking delicious.
Indeed. So you can get yourself 10% off with A2theK 10 over at topropebrewing.com. Also get all your merch needs at prowrestlingtees.com, which we don't wear ourselves, but you can. So until next time, we will say goodbye.